So we're talking today with Sheila McCue, licensed social worker, who is the director of the After Trauma Services Program at Suicide Prevention and Crisis Service of Tompkins County. Tompkins County is located in Ithaca, New York. Sheila, thank you so much for sitting with us because your program is extraordinary, and I'm always impressed by the level of compassion and care that you show your clients. And also staff, you offer a lot of emotional support to staff and our volunteers. I want to ask you, first of all, can you define trauma for us?
Yes, our program understands trauma to be anything difficult or painful that has taken place in someone's life that is interrupting the life you want to be living. So we've had a real opportunity at the After Trauma Services Program to interpret that broadly. And so we understand the experience of trauma to be anything from a one-time incident like a car accident or a house fire, to what it means to be a person of color living daily with racism and anything in between. If something is happening in your life that is interrupting who you want to be, the life you want to be living, our program hopefully will be able to be of some support and usefulness.
That's extraordinary, actually, and it's actually a very wide definition of trauma. Because I would think that if I experienced something like the tragic death of a loved one, or if I experienced, my house being flooded, which has happened a lot in this area, I would think that I could come to you, and what would you do for me? What would you offer me?
Our program is a brief counseling model for people coping with trauma, and so thanks to the funds through United Way and private donations, we're able to offer up to 8 free counseling sessions, and people use that in a variety of ways. Commonly, something has happened for someone that brings them to our program, and we can be a place to support you getting your feet on the ground and to start making sense of what has happened and how you are with what has happened, and what do you need to heal and to live your life given that this has happened or is happening. So people come to our office on Court Street, and we sit together and talk in my office about what's happening for this person, and we get to know one another a bit. 2, 3, 4 conversations into our time together, we start discussing what's needed. What do you need? Is it talk therapy? Is it yoga? Is it reaching out to family? What do you need to be able to live, given whatever trauma has taken place that brings you here?
That's extraordinary. And that you offer this free of charge to residents of Tompkins County, I understand.
That's right.
And I can imagine that one trauma might open the door for other traumas in my life. Do you find that to be the case?
That absolutely can take place, and it's part of the sharing of information as someone is getting their feet on the ground. When someone dies, it's common for past deaths, past grieving to come up again. So no small part of what happens in the conversations in our program is to let people know that that's normal, what's going on for them.
So you actually normalize for them that the grief that they're feeling and how it's manifesting happens because they're human beings.
That's right.
All right. I can imagine that can be very validating.
Exactly, and I think part of what's so radical about our definition of trauma is that the suggestion is there's no way to get through life without experiencing trauma. Hopefully, it's a minimal part of the experience, and maybe it's not. There's no way to get through life without feeling traumatized. And so we, among other things, attempt to accept with someone what has happened.
And then towards the end of your time with people, because this is short-term counseling we're
Correct.
talking about,
Correct.
you try to link them to ongoing support in the community.
Right, right. And the conversations are very much respected by who the individual is, what's happened, what that person defines as what they need. So Ithaca, Tompkins County is rich in resources. We're so fortunate to have the kinds of healing modalities, healers, the kinds of support that we have here. And so it can be a tricky map to navigate in a lot of ways, figuring out what is available in the community. We have over 150 therapists in private practice. We have a county mental health clinic. We have family and children's not-for-profit community mental health clinic. We have massage therapists, acupuncturists, Qigong instructors, yoga classes. We have a lot. Yeah, so the referral is a combination of sharing the knowledge with clients of what kinds of resources are available in the community, and together figuring out what that person needs. So one person may really want to develop a program of healing that has them participating in support groups and classes, etc. Someone else might need to simply come in and make a connection with a counselor who's familiar with trauma and to feel validated in their experience of coping with that trauma and move on. So some people utilize our program as a check-in. And we all need different things. We all have different resources with which to access what we need, and hopefully our program is doing a competent job in figuring out with clients what the next steps are for them.
That's extraordinary. You know, you said something about support groups, and I know that Suicide Prevention and Crisis Service has been running a support group for people who have lost a loved one to suicide. It's been going on for 4 decades plus, and you're following that tradition, and you facilitate that particular support group twice a month. So that sounds like it's ongoing support for people who have lost a loved one to suicide. What's the special difference for people who have lost someone to suicide as, let's say, to cancer or to a heart attack?
It continues to be a very shameful experience for families, communities to lose a loved one by suicide, unlike other kinds. As cancer similarly was thought about when decades ago, it's something that we don't talk about, something to keep private. I think suicide continues to ring that kind of privacy bell. So our support group is a place for people to openly share that this has happened, and to, when feeling safe enough, to be able to share the feelings that come up for people. And with any life experience, there are commonalities to it. So for someone to sit next to someone who's lost a loved one by suicide and to talk about the bewilderment and the pain of questions that will always be unanswered, and the self-reflection of, could I have done something better or different? Was this my fault? Very rigorous, courageous questions to ask, and together often people are able to ask and answer some of that, and it provides extraordinary comfort, and a lot happens in those discussions. So our program is very proud to be continuing the tradition of that support group.
Proud, and rightfully so. It's quite unique in the community to offer a group like that. And I understand that the participants in your support group, out of them has come this desire to create a group for people who want to talk about healing, your healing sessions.
That's right. This is a really new effort for the After Trauma Services program. A common struggle that many clients bring to our counseling office is a sense of loneliness and a sense of alienation. While we can all acknowledge that pain exists and that none of us gets through this life without some trauma, I think we also are a private culture, if you will, around pain, and people often come into our office having experienced something horrifying and go home alone, and are alone in their suffering, alone in their pain, until they come into the office the next time. And so we're taking a look at what it means to be asking people to work on coping skills, what it means to get through painful times or painful experiences. So we're trying a new idea. We're calling it healing sessions, and we're wanting to invite people to come to our offices and spend time in the light, if you will, the struggles that people experience in life, what they're coming here to talk with us about and gain support on, can be so dark. Trauma is dark. Trauma is painful, and we think in our program that we have to be able to access lighter experiences to be able to create more balance in our lives. And so we've started healing sessions. We're inviting people to join us. We have the room that we're in now is one that we transform for many different kinds of experiences here at Suicide Prevention and Crisis Service. This room we turn into a soft, welcoming space, low lights, more music, healthy organic foods. And we spend time together doing artwork, sharing poetry, in conversation, not about our pain, not looking to develop skills at this moment, skills in coping with our traumas, but to celebrate life and to create community, coming together because we are in pain, creating a space that is healing.
So it sounds like healing sessions is your response to requests from your clients to create a space for them to celebrate life.
That's it.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for them. I have one more thing to say. I know that you're also very excited about community conversations. What is that about?
Community Conversations is a collaboration with the Mental Health Association and the Ithaca Therapists Group to organize time in the course of the calendar year in our community to discuss mental health in all of its complexity. There's such an effort here in the 2000s to destigmatize struggles around mental health, mental unwellness. And so we have begun 3 events in the course of the academic calendar where we talk about it, and we invite people from the community to come and be with us, to listen to panelists, to interact, ask questions and answers. Our first community conversations was held in October, and the topic was trauma. We had a panel that included the former director of the After Trauma Services program, Ellen Abrams, Nick Boyer, yoga instructor in town, Tim Dean, the chaplain at the hospital, myself, there was one other person that I'm blanking on. And so the show goes here. Sorry, you're going to edit all of this that I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Don't mention those people.
Okay.
What?
Our panel discussion was about trauma. What is our current understanding in the mental health profession about what trauma is and what are helpful, useful, effective responses to it. our upcoming community conversations on May 27th is mental health and diversity. So discussing what it means to be struggling with issues of mental health from the different cultural experiences that make up who our community is. And we will finish the season with a discussion about suicide and folks who feel comfortable enough sharing their own experiences with attempting to kill themselves and having made it through that. So to talk about what that journey has been like.
So you'll be talking to people who have survived suicide attempts
Yes,
and how they continue to live in the world.
exactly.
These are all very, very, very heavy, interesting topics for the community. And, you know, I'm struck by the fact that your program is so full and so well-rounded, and the fact that you only are at the agency part-time. You have your own private practice that you're
That's
building.
right. That's right.
So that's extraordinary. That really is amazing. So what that says to me is that this is work that you do from your heart, that it's important for you to offer this and to do this service in the community.
Absolutely, and with one other part of the program, if I could share, is as a community organizer, this piece is one that I feel really pleased about. We've opened our library doors here at Suicide Prevention and Crisis Service, inviting colleagues who as well are working in the field of trauma to come on a monthly basis. We sit together in the library and discuss our craft. What kinds of trainings people have attended, what literature people are reading, what kinds of experiences we're having on the other sides of our doors as we work with people who are suffering with trauma. So I think it's the beginnings of a very dynamic dialogue going on where Suicide Prevention and Crisis Service is an important leadership voice in the discussion about destigmatizing issues concerning mental health. So I'm very pleased about that piece as well.
So that piece is important in terms of taking care of the caregivers.
Yep.
How do you continue to do this very emotionally and draining, maybe, perhaps impactful work, and how you keep doing it for the long haul?
And how do we do it well?
Yes.
How do we do it well? So let's share the skills, the toolboxes of skills on how to navigate through this world are aplenty and creative, and we must share them with one another, and we are there.
Thank you so much, Sheila, for spending this time with us to discuss this very important program.
Thank you.
Do you have any other words for us today?
I don't.
Okay.
Well, please call 272-1505 what it means to arrange to come and spend time in the program is simply a phone call. There are not lots of forms and bureaucracy or wait lists or insurance policies to be concerned about. It's a phone call and an invitation to come in.
So that's 607-272-1505, and ask for Sheila McCue to talk about the After Trauma Services Program. Thank you.